Hello, Movie Newscast family, and welcome back to the channel. In the past 24 hours, we've received the heartbreaking news of the loss of some truly remarkable individuals. Today's episode is a tribute to their incredible legacies. Dan Hennessy, a veteran Canadian voice actor behind many iconic cartoon characters, has died, TMZ has learned. Dan's family tells TMZ he died Wednesday at home in his sleep from complications associated with Parkinson's disease. You've definitely heard his voice at some point. He voiced Chief Quimby on Inspector Gadget, George Raccoon on The Raccoons, Father Bear on Little Bear, and Braveheart on The Care Bears. He also lent his voice to a ton of other characters, including roles in RoboCop, Bobar, Beetlejuice, and X-Men, the animated series. Dan's loved ones are remembering him as an incredible son, brother, husband, father, friend, and performer. The family adds, "We are so touched by all those letting us know how he impacted them through his craft, from stage to voice acting and direction. We are warmed by the fact that he provided comfort to a generation of kids around the world by giving voice to beloved animated characters like Braveheart Lion and Father Bear, who were the personification of his kind and exuberant personality." They continue that his contributions to voice acting and contagious spirit live on in perpetuity is a unique gift to those who greatly mourn his loss. He truly was the bravest heart we knew. Dan is survived by his adoring fam, wife Patricia, and daughters Sky and Eden. The family asks that donations be made to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. He was 82. Rest in peace. Trailblazing West Coast rapper Saphir has died, according to his former group mate Exhibit, who carried the weight of the world breaking the tough news to fans on Tuesday. Exhibit says Saphir passed away at 8:45 am today, and our sources tell us he died in his Oakland hometown. The Bay Area staple had been pestered by health problems for years. He even had a cancerous tumor removed from his spine, and he eventually started using a wheelchair. Saphir, X, and Raskas were once unified as the Golden State Warriors, aka the Golden State Project, a counter to the versatile East Coast lyricism poppin' at the time, and they solidified a hefty following in the late 90s. He also had a brief yet impactful career as an actor, co-starring in the classic 1993 hood drama Menace I Society as Kane's cousin Harold. X urged the hip-hop community to wrap their arm around Saphir's brother Chop Black and son Lil Saphir in the family's time of need. Saphir was 54. Rest in peace. Paul Teal, an actor with a recurring role on One Tree Hill, has died. He was 35. Teal's partner, Amelia Torello, shared a post on social media confirming the actor's death, which happened on Friday, November 15. The most thoughtful, inspiring, driven, self-disciplined, loving man passed away. Torello posted on Instagram, "Paul, you were my soulmate, my soon-to-be husband, my rock, and my future. You filled my lungs with laughter, my stomach with butterflies, and my heart with love. You were taken too soon, in a battle that you fought bravely without fail." Torello continued, "While a part of me died with you, I promised to fight to find joy in life as hard as you fought to live every single day. The world is lucky to have even had a moment with Paul Teal, and I am the luckiest person in it because I got to call you mine. I will love you forever." Teal played Josh on One Tree Hill for 7 episodes. Co-star Sophia Bush remembered Teal on Instagram stories writing, "Incredibly saddened to hear about the passing of Paul Teal. We are just starting to watch his OTH episodes on Drama Queens podcast, and he's such a talent." Bethany Joy Lenz paid tribute to the late actor with a heartfelt Instagram post. "My heart is heavy. Paul Teal was the kind of guy who lit up a room without trying. His bright smile, infectious laugh, and kind heart made you want to be near him." Lenz wrote, Charles Dumont dies. Non. Je ne regrette rien composer was 95. French singer-writer-composer Charles Dumont, who is best known for co-writing Edith Piaf classic Non. Je ne regrette rien, has died at the age of 95 after a long illness. Dumont, who was born in the French city of Cahors in 1929, developed an early passion for jazz and trained first to be a trumpet player at the Toulouse Music Conservatory. He moved to Paris after World War II, where he continued his music career but had to abandon the trumpet after an operation on his tonsils. He then pivoted to the piano and composition writing. Throughout the 1950s, Dumont continued to work in music while staying financially afloat with odd jobs. It was during this period that he met lyricist and longtime collaborator Michael Vauquer, and the pair co-wrote Non, Je regrette rien in 1956. According to Dumont's own account, Piaf's iconic connection to Non, Je regrette rien nearly did not happen after the singing star, unimpressed by his and Vauquer's compositions, refused the requests for a meeting. When they finally secured an appointment through her housekeeper, the singer was furious that she had not been forewarned. She kept them waiting for an hour and snapped that they could present just one of their compositions. Dumont sang Non, Je ne regrette rien. After a silence, she declared it was the song she had been waiting for and that she would perform it at her next concert at the famed Olympia Hall. Wesley Cox, a Louisville native who overcame asthma to star on the basketball court for Male High School and his hometown U of L Cardinals, has died. He was 69. Cox's death was announced Sunday night in a post on X, formerly Twitter, from the Bulldogs boys basketball team's official account. Our hearts go out to his family and loved ones, the post says. Cox had been battling diabetes and kidney problems, and in the past 2 years, he had both of his legs amputated below the knee due to an infection and poor circulation. But he did not subscribe to a woe is me mentality. You just have to sit there and say, well, I've got another day. God gave me another day, Cox told the Courier-Journal last August. That's it. Just go on about your business and don't worry about, oh, woe is me. I got 2 legs missing. Don't see it that way. At least I don't. Last summer, a GoFundMe created to help Cox through his health complications raised $41,851. In the comments section, one donor remembered him as a superhero on the court. Another said they worked with him after his playing days were over and cherished his big, kind spirit. A third called him a role model through his work ethic. I wish I could thank everybody personally, Cox told reporters at the time. It's a blessing to know that you're in a community that really cares about you. Cox dealt with asthma his whole life. Speaking with the Courier-Journal in 1987, he said his worst attack occurred when he tried out for Male's basketball team as a sophomore. He was allergic to the grass bordering the field where he was exercising and ended up in the hospital under an oxygen tent that night. AQ basketball legend John Ray Godfrey dies at 80 years old. Espermont native and former Abilene Christian Wildcat men's basketball star John Ray Godfrey died Sunday, November 17, at the age of 80. In high school, Godfrey was a standout player who led the Espermont Hornets to 2 state tournaments. He then played at AQ from 1964 to 1968, becoming the first Wildcat to earn first-team NCAA All-American honors. One of his most memorable moments as a Wildcat came when he scored 41 points in a 96-93 overtime victory over Arkansas State, clinching the Southland Conference Championship for AQ. It was Godfrey's only game played in the newly opened Moody Coliseum. Other notable achievements from his Wildcat basketball career include leading the 1966 team to the NCAA Division I National Tournament, winning 3 conference titles, earning unanimous All-Southland honors 3 times, and being named the league's most valuable player during the 1967-68 season. Godfrey was inducted into the AQ Sports Hall of Fame in 1989 and had his number 14 retired in 2018. He is the only men's basketball player to have his number retired. Godfrey's funeral will be held on Tuesday, November 19th. Richard V. Allen, first National Security Advisor under Reagan, dies at 88. Mr. Allen was part of the Reagan inner circle but stepped down after a year amid an ethics investigation that brought no charges but did bring unwanted media attention. Richard V. Allen, who as President Ronald Reagan's first national security advisor supported tougher Cold War military strategies and helped guide U.S. policies on Iran after the release of American hostages, but who soon stepped down amid fallout from an ethics probe, died November 16 at a hospital in Denver. He was 88. His son Michael Allen confirmed the death but did not provide a specific cause. Mr. Allen's influence on the Reagan era and future Republican Party politics also apparently unfolded over a tense few hours in July 1980 during the Republican National Convention in Detroit. Reagan appeared close to striking a deal with former President Gerald Ford to be his running mate. Mr. Allen, in an essay in the New York Times in 2000, said he felt the choice would be a disaster, potentially dividing the ticket into two poles of power. "And so I did something rash," Mr. Allen wrote. Mr. Allen said he reached out to confidants of George H. Bush, who had run against Reagan in the GOP primaries. Mr. Allen said he received assurances from Bush's aides that the former CIA director would back Reagan's agenda, including Reagan's anti-abortion stance. Mr. Allen passed along the conversation to Reagan. Reagan mulled this for a moment, and then said, deliberately, "Well, if you put it that way, I would agree to reconsider," Mr. Allen wrote. The opening emerged. By 11:35 p.m., Ford had left Reagan's suite, Mr. Allen recounted. At 11:38 p.m., Reagan was on the phone with Bush. "We could hear Bush agreeing on the other end," Mr. Allen wrote. Clifton Morton Jr., first black president of MSU, dies at 98. Former Michigan State University President Clifton R. Wharton Jr., who served as the first black president of a major U.S. public research university, died Saturday at 98, MSU reported Sunday. The cause was cancer, his family said. He died in New York City. Wharton served as MSU's president from 1970 to 78. During his tenure, 2 colleges opened at MSU. Students protested the Vietnam War, and the number of Rhodes Scholars rose, according to MSU. Wharton was respected for maintaining the quality of MSU's academic programs, despite budget constraints, and for his commitment to educating the economically disadvantaged. After MSU, Wharton became the first black chancellor of State University of New York and the first black CEO of a Fortune 500 company, TIAACREF. James Spaniolo, who worked as an assistant to Wharton from 1970 to 72, said Wharton brought analytical and people skills to the role. Spaniolo went on to serve as president of the University of Texas at Arlington from 2004 to 13. Penn State men's soccer legend Dick Packer dies at 91. Former Penn State men's soccer All-American and U.S. Olympian Richard Dick Packer died on Friday, November 15. He was 91. Packer was a forward for the Nittany Lions from 1953 to 1955, and played a key role in Penn State's 1954 and 1955 national championship runs. In Penn State's 9-game season in 1955, Packer scored 24 goals and 50 points, the most goals and points in a single season by a Nittany Lion to this day. Only Corey Herzog, who scored 46 points in 25 games, came close to beating that record in 2010. Packer played with the Urich Truckers of the American Soccer League, starting in December 1955. To play in the 1956 Olympics, Packer played without pay for the Truckers. After he graduated from Penn State in 1956, Packer served in the Air Force after serving in the school's ROTC program. Packer remained with the Air Force until 1959, before returning to the Truckers until 1968. After his retirement, Packer ran the Packer soccer camp for 40 years. Former Chicago Bulls forward Bob Love, a 3-time All-Star who spent 11 years in the NBA, died Monday. He was 81. The Bulls said Love died after a long battle with cancer. Love averaged 21.3 points and 6. Growing up in northern Louisiana, Love was one of 14 children. He was nicknamed Butterbean because he liked lima beans. The 6'8" Love starred at Southern University in Baton Rouge before he was selected by Cincinnati in the 4th round of the 1965 NBA draft. He played for the Royals for 2 seasons before he was taken by Milwaukee in the expansion draft in 1968. Love and Bob Weiss were traded to Chicago in November 1968 for Flynn Robinson. With the Bulls, Love developed into one of the NBA's best forwards. Love was an all-star for 3 straight seasons from 1970 to 73. He averaged a team-high and career-best 25.8 points during the 1971-72 season. Love retired after the 1976-77 season. He averaged 17.6 points and 5.9 rebounds in 789 career games, also playing for the Nets and Seattle Supersonics. In January 1994, Love became the second player in franchise history to have his number retired by the Bulls, joining Jerry Sloan. Love was part of the team's inaugural Ring of Honor class this year in January. Arthur Frommer, travel writer and guidebook publisher, dead at 95. Pioneering travel guidebook writer Arthur Frommer has died at the age of 95, according to a statement from the media brand he founded. His daughter, Pauline Frommer, confirmed that her father died on November 18, at his home, surrounded by loved ones. Born in Virginia in 1929, Arthur Frommer attended Yale Law School and served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. His love of travel and languages inspired him to write and self-publish a guidebook for fellow GIs. Its popularity then moved him to write his first mainstream guidebook, Europe on $5 a Day. That book was the first step in a long media career. He founded Frommer's in 1957. The company began as a series of guidebooks, then expanded through the decades to include online content, newsletters, podcasts, and more. He continued to write, travel, publish, speak at conferences, and give interviews into his 90s. But for Frommer, travel writing was about more than recommending hotels or providing historical facts about famous attractions. In an essay titled How Travel Changed My Life, he wrote, "Travel has taught me that despite all the exotic differences in dress and language, of political and religious beliefs, that all the world's people are essentially alike. We all have the same urges and concerns. We all yearn for the same goals." The Frommer's books introduced a generation of upwardly mobile post-war Americans to a new travel approach, abandoning the grand tour model of the past in favor of youth hostels, street food, and exploring local neighborhoods. Pastor and sociologist Tony Campolo dies at 89. Campolo was a prominent Baptist pastor, sociologist, author, and public speaker who became a widely recognized advocate for social justice and the teachings of Jesus. He was the co-founder, along with Shane Claiborne, of the Red Letter Christian movement, which emphasized the teachings of Jesus, and a former spiritual advisor to U.S. President Bill Clinton. Claiborne confirmed the news of Campolo's passing in a social media post on Tuesday evening. "Today I lost a dear friend and brother," he wrote in the post. "I will miss him something fierce, but I know there's a party on the other side." Campolo's career included roles as a sociology professor at Eastern University in Pennsylvania and as an associate pastor in West Philadelphia. In 1969, he founded the Evangelical Association for the Promotion of Education, EAPE, an organization dedicated to supporting at-risk youth and establishing schools and universities in North America. Throughout his life, Campolo was both celebrated and criticized for his views, which often challenged traditional evangelical stances. In 2015, he announced his support for full inclusion of LGBTQ+ couples within the church, citing his personal experiences and reflections on marriage. In 2016, Campolo publicly distanced himself from the label of evangelical, citing its changing connotations in the United States. Neil Patrick Harris's kids, now in their teenage years, have caught the attention of fans who can't believe how much they've grown. Some even remarked on the striking resemblance one of them bears to him. Take a look back at their photos over the years to see just how much they've changed. Neil Patrick Harris, best remembered by many for his iconic role in the beloved show Doogie Howser, MD, has come a long way since his days as a young TV doctor. Now at 51, the actor revels in his role as a father, watching his twins grow and change in remarkable ways as they move through their teenage years. The dedicated parent shares his twins with his longtime partner, David Burtka, an accomplished actor, writer, and chef. The couple's journey began in 2004, leading to their wedding a decade later in 2014, after over 10 years together. Close family and friends witnessed their Italian destination wedding. The pair donned custom Tom Ford tuxedos for their special day, adding to the event's stylish ambience. Pam Fryman, the director behind How I Met Your Mother, officiated the ceremony, while Elton John gave a memorable performance at the reception. Reflecting on the occasion set in a breathtaking castle in Perugia, wedding guest Kelly Ripa described it on Live with Kelly and Michael as a very quiet, very private, very family affair. Notably, the duo's journey to becoming a family began even before they exchanged vows. In August 2010, Neil shared that he and David were about to become parents. "We're super excited / nervous / thrilled. Hoping the press can respect our privacy," he said at the time. Neil expressed his enthusiasm for fatherhood while attending the Emmy Awards that same month, saying, "I'm trying to read as much as I can and prep as much as I can. But there's only so much you can do because each baby is super individual and totally their own person." Neil Patrick Harris and David's family story offers a glimpse into their lives beyond the spotlight, highlighting their commitment to parenting and family values. As their kids, Gideon and Harper, move into their teenage years, fans continue to follow their journey, watching as the twins grow and change alongside their well-known parents.